Okay. Everybody, I'm so excited. So, as you know, I have been taking opportunities to interview and spend some time with women who have inspired me, women who have paved a path for other women. And embarking on this journey has been really cool for me. You know, if you ever want to learn about how much you've grown, start asking questions of other women about their growth. And you know, this journey is amazing, and I'm really excited because today we have somebody who is so completely special to me, more so than she even has any idea how special she is. What's cool is many of you have asked in the past, whether you are Scentsy or not Scentsy, how Scentsy was started. And there's no better person to tell us a little bit about how that started than the woman who, in conjunction with her sister-in-law, started Scentsy. And so Colette Gannell is with us, and I'm honored to have you spending a little bit of casual me and you time. This is recorded, so other people are going to see it, but this is just me and you time, and I'm pumped to have you. So thank you.
Oh, you are seriously my hero. Thank you for inviting me. Such an honor. Like, I adore you. I'm so grateful for how all the stuff you've done. And literally, you are a shining star, not only in Scentsy, but in so many lives. So thank you for inviting me. I'm super duper excited.
I'm excited, and thank you for those compliments. I am really, really excited because now this is speaking to people that are in Scentsy. This is speaking to people that are not in Scentsy, and so you can keep that in mind that there's going to be an audience outside of Scentsy that will see this. But we have to at least lay that groundwork a smidge before we get into the meat and potatoes of what I'm going to ask you, which you don't know. That's the best part, is that everybody will get your answers. They're not rehearsed. And but before we get into that, they need to know just a little bit about who were you 18, well, Scentsy officially became the company in 2004, but what year did you and Kara start Scentsy, and who was Colette in that year?
Okay, so we started it, well, we thought of the idea on July 25th of 2003. So at that time, I had, let's see, so I had a daughter born in 94 and one in 96. So they were like 9 and 7. And then I had one born in 2000 and 2002. So I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so 4 girls, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and my husband had been working for insurance company for like 20 years. Yeah, so he was working a lot. I always loved like doing little things on the side. I was really involved in PTA. In fact, I think the year we started it, I was PTA president of our elementary school. And so yeah, well, it was the year I was pregnant. So the year before we started it. So yeah, involved in PTA. I come from a family of 8 kids. I'm the 6th of 8. And my little brother, that's the 7th of 8, it was his wife, Kara, that we started it together. So yeah, big family. And trying to think what else, just yeah, just
So
loved being.
when you came, so you said the idea was born July 2003, so only 1 year, which people don't know that yet. We haven't gotten there yet, but 1 year prior. So you had the idea. So just tell us, how did that come about? Like, you had the idea, and then what did that morph into?
So yeah, we had the idea, then we're like, all right, we got to get the products ready. We got to get a business license. We got to get the company named. We got to open a bank account. We got to like figure out how we're going to do all this, get like a logo and get, everything. So we got working, and it was October of 2003. So July, we came up with the idea. By October, we had everything kind of in place to actually start selling product. But then we're like, how do we sell? Like, how do we get it out there? Right? Do we like try retail? Do we try like, parties? How are we going to like market this? And so we started a bunch of different things, a bunch of different ways. And we soon realized pretty quick, like, because no one really knew what a wickless candle was, it took where you talk person to person and explaining and sharing it that way. So yeah, we got into fairs and shows. I had done some party plan companies before, mostly just kind of for fun, like being able to get the things that I wanted at like a discount and stuff like that. But so we did set up where we had people doing parties. We had 8 original consultants that were selling. And yeah, we had a little starter kit, but like nothing professional because we had no idea on that end of the business. But anyway, so that, and then we did try retail. We put it into like a boutique, but we sold a few, but not very well because no one really knew what that was, So yeah, it was kind of just like figuring everything out. And then we also got into some fairs and shows.
Okay.
And just rented a booth. And it was funny because the first one we did, we called to do the Christmas show here in Salt Lake City. And only like a booth on our row where like food, it's like a row of where food is. And I said, well, the product isn't food. I said, but we do have some warmers that have like apples on the outside. I'm like trying to like explain. And the lady said, okay, I'll let you in. So we had our first booth was actually on a row of food at the Christmas show in Salt Lake. So kind of crazy.
That is so. One thing though that I think is important because how'd you get the idea? We didn't address how you got the idea for this company.
Oh, so I love candles. I actually even used to sell because I did nails at home for 8 years. And so when I had the clients to get their nails done, I had a shelf where I actually put jarred candles to sell. And so I had them going a lot in my house. And with the 4 little girls, there was one day where the flame, it burned all the way down. I forgot I had left the candle there. It burned all the way down and then it just popped the glass. So I came home and I found the jar like popped, but luckily the flame had burned out and that scared me to death. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have totally burned my house down. And so even though I loved having the smell, I was worried with that. So I had like been like trying tarts and votives and melting different things and the little coffee mug warmer where I'd put the jarred candle to try to melt it that way instead of having the flame. So I was kind of just experimenting with different things like that. And I had gone to my neighbor's house and I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells so good in here. What are you burning? And she's like, well, my husband won't let me burn candles anymore. So I take the jarred candle and put it in a bag. And then I break the glass on it and I pull out the wax and I cut it up in chunks. And then I melt that in my old little potpourri crock pot, those little mini crock pots you'd put potpourri in.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was like, I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy, but that was in the back of my mind. And anyway, so that was kind of my side. And on Kara's side, my sister-in-law, she had seen the Millionaire Mom show on Oprah. And she was really looking for a way to increase their income for their family, but she was also a mom and wanted to be home. And so she had been praying for an idea because when she saw the Millionaire Moms on Oprah, she was looking at the ladies and was like, these are just like ordinary women, like they're darling and they're amazing, but like if they can come up with something, then I can too, So she had been praying for almost a year for an idea. And July 25th was my mom's birthday lunch. And we had all gone, all the sisters and sister-in-laws and my mom, we went to lunch. And I gave her a flat coffee mug warmer with the jar, and we got talking, and I mentioned about my neighbor, and we were just talking about candles, and the light bulb went on, and we were like, if people will go to all the trouble to like break the glass and, you know, try to like do all this, like, let's make it easy for them, and let's sell wax chunks to melt in warmers. So that was
and I love that because it speaks to the true testament of ideas are born on beverage napkins. You know, ideas are born and jotted down, you know, or filed away, and then we say it out loud to somebody, and it takes them saying, you know what, we should do this, and off and running. So I love one of the parts of the story that I love, and you probably have a couple other little snippets like this, but I love that the original boxes were designed after a cosmetic bag, a makeup bag. I mean, totally. That's what I love, is around us is inspiration all the time.
So true. Yeah, we loved the colors on the makeup bag, and I had just a friend that was in our neighborhood that I knew she had done some design work. And so we called her like, hey, we started this new little company, you know, can you help us? And anyway, we took the makeup bag to her, and that kind of inspired the stripes and the colors and everything. I actually have one of the first little boxes.
I love it that it's sitting right there. So that is so awesome. Gosh, with the band.
Like and the little belly band that would slide off, and the colors of the warmers. Anyway, it was kind of fun. So I have stuff here because I had done a little training a few days ago, and I haven't put the stuff away. So
well, you are, by all means, you can share anything or show anything that you want to. I mean, that everybody will love that. Tell us about the name.
So the name, that was so fun. We had a whole like notepad just full of different ideas of names. I'm like, we're just like getting creative, thinking of tons of different things. And so I probably have that paper somewhere of all the names we were thinking of, but some I remember were like a bit of sense or perfect sense, or like just different things with sense. And anyway, so we were at my mom's again. And like I said, I used to do nails. So I was doing my mom's nails on the kitchen table, and we were just throwing out names and brainstorming. And my sister-in-law, Kara, she was on the computer, and she typed in forms of the word scent. And one of them said Scentsy. And she was like, what about Scentsy? And immediately we were like, oh my gosh, that is it. Like, we love it. And to me, it reminded me like sexy and Scentsy. I don't know. I was just like, oh, that's so cute. And we knew that if we added other products down the line, you know, some of the names were more specific that we were thinking of that would really only go with wax and warmers, but Scentsy was like all things scented. So we immediately fell in love with that, and that was the name.
And here we are today launching an air purifier. Like, so crazy, but I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So tell me, and this also, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but tell me what you felt the moment, because you live in Utah. And in 2000, and we're going to backtrack after this, but tell me, in 2009, when Scentsy's national convention was held at the Salt Palace in Utah, and you pulled up and saw the word Scentsy on that building, tell me about that.
Oh, I will cry. That was like the most amazing thing I could have ever imagined. I just remember driving up, and literally the Salt Palace, had, you know, the big tall thing, the Salt Palace, and had our Scentsy logo just plastered in there and all over the doors. And my husband came with me. This is fun because my husband came with me all this time before. Like, we had no money to start. So we were like, I opened up, you know, the little things that come in the mail, and Kara opened up one. So we were funding this off of credit cards in the beginning. And then once we sold and everything, which we'll come back to that, but I think my husband was like thinking, this is kind of a little side thing that my wife is doing, you know? And so he came to convention in 2009 at the South Palace. Like, it was awesome. Just so much fun. I can't remember how many thousand, but I think there were maybe
I think there
8,000.
was like it in 2009. I think we had like 2,500.
Oh, was it only that? Okay. So yeah, anyway, when he came, he was like, this is the real deal, Colette. And I'm like, I've been trying to tell you, like, yes, and so after convention and him seeing Scentsy logo plastered everywhere, the Scentsy ladies, and men that were there, and just how much fun, he went into his boss and told them, I want to retire. And they're like, well, you're too young to retire. And he said, okay, then I want to resign. And he left his job of 20 years and came to do Scentsy full time with me after Shine 09 in a convention in Salt Lake. So that was like my favorite thing, because yeah, he really got on board with me after that convention. He was like, this is the real deal. This is pretty dang awesome.
and that was 6 years after idea, 5 years after what we haven't gotten to yet. So a journey. Yeah. A journey for you, a journey for him, a journey for your family. I mean, it's amazing. Take us back then to what happened in 2004, because a lot of times people start businesses or start companies and they don't get discovered until a decade later. Or, so tell us what happened in a couple months.
Well, part of the backstory and really looking back, like, Scentsy was really a meant to be company. Like, it needed to be here. And I feel so blessed that we were the tool that it was able to come through. But honestly, ultimately, it needed to be to Orville and Heidi. And so the way that this all happened is just so crazy. I mean, like you said, normally it could take years and years. And this was less than 1 year, like 6 months. Like, it was insane. So we had been doing the fairs and shows and doing our little things, and people were loving Scentsy. Like, it was awesome. So we had done the March Home and Garden Show, and you want me to kind of tell like what happened there?
Yes.
Okay. So we had set up our booth, and it's just so fun because we would like wear our little business suits and had it all, set up so cute and stuff. But we were doing really well at on sales. And so across from us was this cute little booth it was a like 14 or 15-year-old girl. There was literally like a table, no tablecloth that I can remember, and just a TV on it. And this girl was standing demoing video games. And anybody who's done fairs or shows, you become friends with your neighbors. So we had talked to her, and, we were both on the end of a row. And so anyway, we were watching this, and they had all these fun games on this little handheld 3-in-1 game controller thing. And I was like, okay, we have a lot of debt, with Scentsy, but we were also doing well in sales at the same time. But I thought, I want one of those video games, but maybe I could work out a trade. So I had been watching, and it was the Saturday evening of the show. So the next day was the end of the show. And it was just Kara and I. So I was like, I'm going to sit down and take a little break to eat. So I grabbed some food, there was a little bench on the end of the row, and I sat down just to eat really quick. And Kara was manning the booth. And I saw Orville, which I didn't know him. I had no idea who he was, but he came over to check on which was his niece. This girl that was working the booth was his niece. So he came over, I saw them talking. And so I knew he had something to do with the booth. But then he came after he finished talking with her and just sat on the other end of the bench. And normally I probably would have just kept eating, maybe said hello and, not struck up a conversation. But because I wanted one of the game controllers, I was like thinking in my mind, oh, that guy's with that booth. I need to like get talking to him because I want to work out a trade. And then I'm like, well, it's a guy. So is he going to like Scentsy, which now we know men love Scentsy, you know. But so I asked him, I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, I'm like, are you married? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, you need to take one of these candles home to your wife. And he's like, well, tell me about them. And so I'm telling him, they're the hottest new candles, you know, brand new wickless. And, you know, I'm building it all up and everything. And I brought him over to the booth and had him smell some scents. The first one I handed to him was root beer barrel, because I'm like, oh, men will love root beer. And anyway, he was like, oh my God. And we were talking. And then I had finished my food. I stayed at the booth, but he was sitting on the bench, and you could literally just see the wheels turning in his brain. And Orville, he literally was, him and Heidi, they were meant to do Scentsy. Like, his mind, and what I love about them is they aren't just looking like for today or tomorrow. They're looking like generations ahead. And when I met him, and after, he sat on the bench, and then a few minutes later, he came back to the booth, and he was like, so how much would you guys want to like sell Scentsy, you know? And we're like, oh, well, it's not for sale. Like it's, we just started it, and, you know, we're like, yeah, you know, kind of blowing him off. And anyway, he invited us to partner with him on a show up in Seattle. It was the Seattle Women's Show. He said, I'll pay for the booth, you bring the inventory, and let's just see how it goes up there. And so that was, I think, in April. And we went up, and that was the first time we met Deanie, and she was one of our friends. So we killed it at the women's show. People loved it. And so anyway, we would go to dinner after the show at night, and he was like, okay, like, let's work something out. I can help you get this to the next level. And we both being stay-at-home moms, we were like, well, we know this is a cool idea. We don't even know how much Scentsy's worth, but we would love some help, you know, to get it going. And about that same time, we were also approached with a guy who worked as like a buyer for Costco. And so he was wanting to meet with us, and was saying like, this is a cool idea. Like, you know, maybe we can get this where. I'm so glad we didn't entertain any ideas like that. Like, people will say, why Orville? And honestly, it was totally like, he was like a brother. Like, I just felt so comfortable with him, and I knew that he was the one, him and Heidi. So I hadn't met Heidi at this point. But by May 1st of 2004, so not even a year, we had a contract drawn up, and Orville and Heidi came to our house and picked up all the inventory and all the like supplies and everything from the basement. And that was an awesome day. But it was also like, I look back at it and I just remember like when they were driving their trailer and, you know, driving everything off, like I had tears, but it was really happy tears, because I knew that Scentsy was going to be in much better hands, and that it would have an awesome future. And that's one thing I feel so blessed, is that I've been able to still be part of it, because a lot of times people will buy something and then it's just like, see you later. They don't want anything to do with the original, you know, people. And we have never felt that way. They have been so good to us. And it's like, I get to see our little baby get raised, and yet I mean, it was like we gave it for adoption or whatever, but we still get to be part of watching it raise. Yeah. Like it's the greatest ever.
So here's what's perfect. I think you did an outstanding job of laying the foundation for our conversation. I think that anybody that's watching that doesn't know the story now has a good feel for how Scentsy came to be. And I mean, if you don't know, Scentsy has completely blown up. I believe last year, 2020, so during a pandemic, we almost hit $1 billion in revenue. which is, here's this little baby that you watched get driven out of your basement to a almost $1 billion company. So you did a fantastic job bringing us along. So now I want to dive just a little bit deeper and talk about you, because we always, anytime that we hear Colette speak, we hear about the Scentsy story. And though the details further than what she just shared with you are extremely interesting and fascinating to Scentsy consultants, of course, we want to know everything. We want to hear it all. What we don't get to hear a ton of is about the girl and her growth. And because this series that I'm doing is about personal growth and inspiration and the ability to be impacted and affected by other women, that's what I want to talk about with you. And so I know, and we know, what Scentsy was for you when you started. It was a candle company that came to be, and it was two stay-at-home moms, their dream becoming reality. But what is Scentsy today to you? And you can just throw words at me. You don't. It doesn't even. What is Scentsy today?
Oh my God.
To you?
Literally, I pinch myself every day. I just can't believe what it's become. Like, I just feel so proud. A couple of examples are, like, we had the opportunity to go to Hawaii for spring break, and we're like driving along the freeway in Hawaii, and I see a car that has like the Scentsy logo on the back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is so cool. Like, I could never have imagined what it would become. And I'm just so proud. Like, there's no words to describe. It's just a joy of seeing what it's grown up to. It's a family to me. Like, it is so in my heart. I have met the most amazing people. And honestly, my Scentsy friends are my family. Like, if I ever needed anything, I know, in fact, I have had my daughters have been on missions in different states, and they were like, hey mom, like, we were having such a bad day, and I saw a house that had a car in it that had a Scentsy logo, and we went and knocked, and the lady brought us in, and she took us in her garden, and she gave us vegetables from her garden and like took care of them. And it's just, we have a family. And now, not only in the US, but all over the whole world. My other daughter, she served in New Zealand, and she wanted a Scentsy there, but the plugs are different. And so she like looked up a girl, and I mean, literally, we have family around the whole world. It is the coolest thing. So I would say family. I would say the most amazing friends and the most amazing mentored, like, people. I've learned so much from other people. And that's what's so cool about the Scentsy community too, is we help each other. We lead each other. Like, it's not a competition thing. And, well, I know this, sharing, we help each other. And it's so uplifting and so fun. Also, some other words I would say, just like, beyond blessing with my family. 3 of my 5 girls are now consultants, and they do shows with me. We do fundraisers, we do parties, we do some fun open houses here at our house. And each one of them, like, I never like said, hey, you guys need to be a consultant. Like, it's been them coming to me and saying, hey mom, I'm ready, I want to join. Like, and that is like one of the most rewarding things as well, because they grew up with this, right? I mean, they were little tiny girls, and they have a love for Scentsy just as much as me, and they know Scentsy has been such a blessing in our life, and that's been really rewarding, that they want to do it with me. And they're the one, I'm so bad at technology and all these different things. They're the ones that are like, okay mom, we're gonna help you, Yeah. And so that has been a huge thing. And like I said, with my husband coming to work with me in 2009, he's literally my very best friend. And we have had so much fun working together, and he's good at all the things that I'm not good at. And that has been a huge, but there's just no way to describe. And then the partnership with Disney. And I mean, there've been so many things that just literally blow me away. Like,
yeah. And that,
okay, we can never get, they can never top this. And then they top it. Like, it's amazing.
yeah. 2003, 2004, think about the fact that Mickey Mouse would have a Scentsy logo on him.
I can't even believe that still to this day. I remember the first time, because we had gotten the buddies, and that was at convention. That was in California. And that whole thing totally blew me away. I had no idea. Like, I was just amazed. And then now, well, it was a couple years ago when they had the warmers, and I remember going to Superstar Summit, and I literally around the corner and I see Mickey Mouse on a warmer, and it was the ugly cry. I literally couldn't hold it back. I'm like, this is so dang awesome. Like, who would have ever imagined? Not in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought. I just am so proud of the home office, so proud of everyone. And it took us all working together. That's what's so cool. There's so many that just put their whole hearts in it. And I just am so
gosh, that's it's funny that you say that, because I was going to say, and it fits better now. If I were you, okay, and I saw every time that I got a Scentsy order delivered to my house, and every time I touched a product, and every time, and I'd be like, I did this, except you say you did this. You say you, meaning everybody that, all consultants, the home office, Orville and Heidi. That is one of the things that always draws us back to you, is how selfless you are, how you are always, I may have done this, but you continue to do it. And it's because of you that I still get to be here. It's because of you that I get to do what I do. And I love that energy about you. That's one of the things that makes you Colette. That's one of the things that draws us all in, is you just have this loving spirit. And to this day are still in awe of the things that happen. You're still in awe of the licensing partnerships and I mean, for crying out loud, we have the NFL and MLB and NHL and Warner Brothers and Disney and Marvel, and we have, I mean, is there anything we can't do? I mean, to have Orville and Heidi stand at the Magic Kingdom in Florida and say that Disney is, or that Scentsy is becoming the official fragrance of Walt Disney World Resort? Like, what? Like, this is, and all the while, right? We're talking about the product, and the product being this amazing thing, but all the while, what Scentsy is and what it has become is a vehicle for us to realize our purposes and our paths and our growth and all of these things, because the product leads us. That's what makes us different than, I mean, how many times do we hear pyramid scheme and multi-level marketing and bleh. Right. But when it comes down to it, we lead with the product, but we follow with the people.
So true.
We are so much more. And that's what I love. And you said this also. You said we're not competitors. We're not, and realistically we are. We are, because you could sell Scentsy to my people. We all have the same catalog, we all have the same opportunity, but it is not, that's not our community. That's not how our community operates.
Right.
Because we are, the success of all consultants is the success of Scentsy.
So true. So true.
And so if you were thinking about, yeah, I mean, you started to touch on it, the Disney and seeing, seeing the Scentsy logo on the Salt Palace. But if you had like a news flash really quick in your brain and I said to you, tell me moments that lit you up. Tell me moments that gave you an ugly cry. Tell me moments that just there's so many. So which ones are popping in your head? Just
oh my
spit
God.
them out.
Okay. The first incentive trip, the very first one, literally it was 80 and Kristen and Orville and Heidi, their spouses, and Greg and I, like, so what, 8 of us total? We rented 2 cars. We went to Costco. I mean, that was magical, like so awesome. And then Africa. I mean, we went on a safari in Africa. I'm like, there's monkeys climbing on our roof. Like, I would have never dreamed or imagined. And every single incentive trip has been that way. It has been magical and amazing. And every time I just am like, oh my gosh, I never want to miss one of these. Like, so awesome. So incentive trips for sure. The connection, anytime we have reunion, I mean, all the different places that we've had reunion, and just the energy and the excitement and meeting people and seeing the new products and seeing everybody be so excited. Like, I'm so excited. I'm in the back crying and like dying of how proud I am of everybody, and seeing everybody else so excited at the same time. Those moments are magical for me. I mean, looking around the room and just seeing people. And other magical moments are the aha moments when I hear people say what Scentsy has done for them in their life. And so I've been so blessed where people will come to me and they'll just have tears in their eyes and they'll be like, thank you so much. Like, this is the first Christmas where I didn't have to wonder where I was going to get the money to do Christmas. And then just seeing people too, like, I never could talk to people before, and now they're up on stage and they're like, just the personal growth and the, like you said, Scentsy is not just wax and warmers and our awesome products, but it really is the tool to help people become who they were really meant to be. It gives them the income. It gives them the opportunity to like take what they're good at and use that to shine and use that to like help. That's how they can share Scentsy, is that their strengths and talents, and they just evolve into who they're like really meant to be. And that is magical to me. That makes me want to never give up until every single person can have that same opportunity to reach their goals and dreams. And really, that's what keeps me going. Is I love, like, it's literally so in my heart, in my blood, but it's the connections and the people. And I don't know. I don't even know how to put it in words. I'm just so blessed.
You are doing an amazing job putting it into words, and your spirit, like I have said, your spirit precedes you always. And I think you're demonstrating that. And so, it's, gosh, it's amazing. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
How have you grown in your journey with Scentsy? And I don't mean age. I mean, how have you grown?
Okay, you mean like
Personally?
like personal?
We talk about Scentsy being a vehicle for growth and for personal development, and so how have you grown?
So, wow, that's a hard one to say about yourself.
For you, I know, and that's why I love these questions, because you always flip things around on others to see the good in them, and this is an opportunity for all of us to see. We already know the good in you, but this is for us to see, and I love putting you on the hot seat. So I want you to talk about you.
Okay, well, I really am a better and different person than in the beginning, for sure. I think Scentsy has giving me the confidence. There's a lot of things where I still am not very confident in, and the things I'm not super strong at, but I have learned so much. And and learned how to get out of my comfort zone. And there's been a few times where we have been asked to come on stage at Scentsy or like do different presentations. And normally that would just scare the heck out of me, but I am getting braver and learning to do hard things, which is awesome. I think one of my favorite things is I love to help other people, and Scentsy has been an awesome tool for me to just do little surprises and leave little things anonymously and do stuff for other people. That's been because before I always wanted to, but I never had the ability to. And so that's been a huge blessing. Sorry, I should have got like a ton of Kleenex, and I'm sorry I'm emotional, but it's just in me. I think too, like, I mean, obviously the financial blessings have been so amazing. And yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to answer that.
You did, but you did. And you actually, you segued into my next question because you said you love helping people. And I want you to tell us, what do you love? Tell me the things you love. Just throw them at me. Throw me you love Coca-Cola? Tell me things that you love.
Okay. So yeah, my nickname is Coke. And or Cokie, my mom and my husband, and anyway, so since I was a little girl, I have been given a lot of Coca-Cola stuff. So I have a full collection of Coca-Cola. I love that. I also, and this is kind of goofy, but the FJ Cruisers, the, Toyota FJ Cruisers.
Okay.
They quit making them in 2004, and I got one in 2010 and love they're basic. They have nothing fancy. I mean, they do have windows that are automatic, but besides that, there's like no navigation, no nothing. But I do love FJ Cruisers, and I have a couple of them, and they're super fun. So when people think of me, they're like, oh, she will be in an FJ. Trying to think what else. I do love pop and drinking Coke, which is probably a bad thing. I need to do better and drink more water, and I need to learn from you what you're doing. I'm so proud.
Thank you.
What else about me? I love jelly beans, which they had Scentsy partner with Jelly Belly. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I do love.
What's your favorite Jelly Belly flavor?
Oh, I think the cinnamon one. Yeah. I love them. That's what I love about it, is you can grab a handful and I just eat them one at a time, and each one is a surprise, and they're all good.
Love it.
Yeah,
Keep going. What do you love?
Oh my goodness, I'm trying to think. I don't know. There's just so many things. I love being with my girls. We have a little place up in Bear Lake, and I love to, I used to be really good at water skiing until I hurt my back, but this year actually got up on the slalom ski again.
Was it like riding a bike?
Yeah, well, it took me 5 tries to get up, and I was like, but it's because I don't have a lot of strength, So anyway, I'm like, come on, Colette, because I've been skiing since I was 8 years old. So I knew I had it in me. And then once I was like, okay, it was like riding a bike once I got up. But so we love water sports, and I grew up snowmobiling. I like to snowmobile, and I never really got into skiing, but mostly because we were snowmobilers. But what else? I love the sun. I love being at the beach. I love anything to do with water. What else? I'm a terrible cook. Terrible. I I am not a good cook. And so if anyone has good recipes, send them my way. Easy. I need really easy. So yeah, I eat out way too much, which is really bad. But what else? I'm telling you, I'm kind of a clean freak. I like things clean and organized. And oh, how else would people describe me? Mostly that I love being a mom. I have 5 girls now, and they are seriously my best little buddies. And I now am a grandma. I have a 3rd one on the way. And honestly, that's a whole new level of love I didn't even know existed. Being a grandma is the greatest thing in the world.
What do they call you?
Well, he can't. So the oldest one is only 2.
That's right. What will they call you?
Well, he is already calling me, but it's Koki. But he can't say the C, so it's a T. He calls me Toti. Grandma Toti.
That's so cute.
But eventually I think it will evolve into Koki. So
oh, well, here's why I blasted you with that. We don't spend enough time talking about ourselves in a way that we convince ourselves we're worthy of attention. But it's also really good to hear yourself say things that you love, to remind yourself of your passions, to remind yourself of things that make you happy. And it's also important to show women they're allowed to have love. They're allowed to love things. They're allowed to be loved. They are lovable.
For sure.
And it's very, it's sad when I ask that question, and women typically a common answer is, I don't know. I love a lot of things and I'm boring, and and I will continue to push until I can squeeze it out of them. But doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good though to say out loud the things that that bring you joy and the things that you love, you know? Sure. And so thank you for that. I love that you even incorporated something you're terrible at. I love that. You make me laugh. And on a couple of occasions, you also, instead of saying I love, you said we love. And that is so you. That's so who you are. Yet again, you are always thinking outside of yourself. You are always thinking about others. And it's so obvious, and you don't even realize it sometimes. So a couple little last things. I mean, I respect your time, and I appreciate you spending the time with us. So I don't want to keep you much longer, but, what is the best compliment you've ever received?
Oh my goodness. That is so hard. You know, the one that like literally made me cry was when we were at Disney, and I was in the convention, and our team, how they rotate the teams where they sit, and our team was in the very, very back. And so I could see like all of these people in front of me, and Heidi was giving her keynote speech, and she was talking about Walt Disney and having, where Walt had been sitting on a bench and saw the kids playing on the merry-go-round, and that was where he got the idea to start Disney. And that keynote speech was so amazing, and I was just in the back soaking it in and feeling so grateful. And all of a sudden this light like turned on above me, and I'm like, oh, that's weird, like no lights are on anywhere else, and I'm kind of sitting there, and Heidi called me up to come up there with her, and when she said, she just thanked me, and that really meant a lot. And when she said that, I think it was when I was walking back to my seat, but she said that she had talked about us on the bench and everything, but she said, Colette, you are Scentsy's Walt Disney. And that's said. So anyway,
I will never forget that moment. That's where our "it started on a bench" came from, right?
Yeah.
That is so worthy of being your favorite compliment. I love that you brought that back forward to remind yourself too. Like that's a heck of a compliment. You are Scentsy's Walt Disney.
I'm like, are you kidding? Because it's you guys that have done this, you know, but it just made my heart feel so happy. And I don't know, I've had so many people, so many kind. I mean, I don't feel worthy of all the kindness and all of the kind things people have said and done, because really it's them growing and becoming a better person that they're so proud of. But then they look to Scentsy as the reason, when really it was them. Like, they had it in them the whole time. They just needed a reason to let it out, you know? Yeah. So I'm very, very honored and very blessed, for sure.
Yeah, you had a hand in starting a candle company, and you are a part of something so much greater than it. Scentsy has morphed into so much for so many. An opportunity, you know, and I've been talking about a couple hard things lately. You know, Scentsy is also, because let me give you just a smidge of content or background. I remind my team and other consultants often that it isn't necessarily for a financial reason that people start these types of businesses. That there are women looking for a place. There are women looking for a purpose. There are women looking for an outlet, or there are women looking for an escape from their current situation. And that's a tough conversation, you know, to have or to talk about. But there are some women that need this to survive. And so when you think about the fact that you started a candle company, you also started a movement. You started a safe haven. You started an opportunity. You've started a much grander thing than a candle company people can get a paycheck from. And I think that's why Scentsy, I mean, if we were sharing, because people are going to watch this that are Scentsy people and non-Scentsy. But I think if we are being a commercial for the company that we love, the company that you started, I think that it's important to say that it's so much more here than a product and a paycheck.
For
that
sure.
It's about the people. And that our consultants, I mean, look at the staying power that Scentsy has. I've been doing this 13 years. You started the company, you know, and so many of our peers have been doing this for longer than a decade. A lot of times that's unheard of in this industry. People think that direct sales, you get in, you lose money, you leave, you're mad. But not here, not with our journeys. And I think it's important to say that stigma is a misconception and a generalization. That we have so much more that we do here than bring people in just to make money.
For sure.
And you ask any leader, and they will say it's about the people. And it's about seeing the people realize their own successes and their own triumphs and celebrating those. And you and your spirit has been carried through the growth and the building of this company. And I think that is just the coolest, because who better? That's why you and Kara attracted Orville and Heidi. That's why because you impacted them, Orville and Heidi have attracted the people that they have. That's why we have this amazing company and this amazing, I mean, we all take a pretty vested interest in the success of Scentsy, the growth of Scentsy, and it isn't because of a payday. It's because we truly care and because there's no place else we'd rather be.
So true. So true.
So exactly. What is in the next 20 to 30 years, what are Greg and Colette, what is on your list? Aside from being grandparents and aside from being able to have realized so many of your bucket list dreams, it's still a fair question to say, where do you look? What's down the road for you?
Oh my goodness. that is a hard one, because literally so many of our dreams are coming true and have come true. Like things I could have never dreamed. Like in my mind, we were dreaming big. I mean, Scentsy is going to be the hottest new thing in candles. Like I had no idea, and I'm blown away every single day, every single catalog, every conversation. Like I just had no idea. I just hope that in some way that I can give back because we have been so blessed. And so really, I don't ever want to miss a Scentsy event. I don't ever want to stop growing and learning and, trying to do better, not just in my business, but as a person. And I think just somehow trying to give back and help other people is what I want to do the rest of my life, because I've been given so much. And so, yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
You answered it. You answered it. And again, this is true testament to who you are. This is who you are. Unapologetically, this is who you are.
You're
and
so
it's
sweet.
Beautiful, and it's wonderful, and you are a gift to us. You're a gift to anybody that meets you and gets to know you.
Thank
really,
you.
You really are.
That is you. Literally, you are amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk, because you're right. I mean, we talk a lot of business, but I want to ask all these same questions back to you.
Well, another time.
Do better.
But it's true, right? It's true. Like, we do talk about the company in the beginnings, but it's important that that people don't lose who you are being wrapped up in the starting of this company. You are who you are, and people don't get to see that. And so this is truly to showcase who is Colette. Oh, and you did a perfect job of showing people exactly who you are and how you are. And now, I mean, they understand why I say I'm blessed to know you. Your spirit is genuinely contagious. And we have multiple pictures of you holding Marin on our digital picture frame in the kitchen. Oh. And every time it comes on, I mean, Marin knows who you are because she would be too young to really remember. I mean, I think the last time she saw you was Anaheim in Disneyland, but
yeah,
every time she sees you, she knows who you are. And gosh, I will tell anybody, a digital picture frame is probably the greatest gift that we've given ourselves and our kids, because we have loaded it with all of the important people in our life, and the conversations continue to be had about the people as they pop up on the screen. And so we have those conversations and that dialogue with our kids, and they know who you are, and they know the reason it's important to know who you are is because they have the life they have because of what we've been able to do. So
I'm so proud.
The trickle down effect that you have had is great, and it's lasting, and you will always be so important to me. You will always be somebody that I pull to the front and say, please look at her, because she's amazing.
You are so sweet. And yeah, you right back at you. You inspire me so much, and learn from you. So thank you so much.
Birds of a feather. Thank you so much. I am going to have this ready. I'm going to work on it right now, so people can have access to the beautiful you, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Best.